Okay, everyone, this is my breakdown for Act 7 of Dragon May Cry, as well as an update for everyone what I'm going to do. I'll start with the update because it also has to deal with the schedule. As you guys know, we'll be having another 3 SWWC on Fridays. I might have something planned for Halloween. Again, I know I've been very hit or miss when it comes to posting clops and keeping that side of my fans happy. It's mostly because of all the stress and the pain. I've got several one-shot stories finished, but as soon as I go to post them, I'm like, I don't want to. The hesitation to post them has really stopped me, okay? I've got quite a few finished. I just don't know which one I want for what. I do have an idea for what I want to post. It might, and to give you a preview, even if it doesn't come out, it will be a Twilight story involving Flash Sentry. And I might have mentioned this on a few times in previous videos, but basically it will be mild horror, but playful kind of horror. Okay. Anyway, now that's out of the way, let's get on to what is coming out for this month in Something Wrong with Canterlot. I haven't named the chapter in chapter 4. Sorry, month 14 will be getting a new part, obviously, and so will. Please hold on. Month 14. Yeah, month 14 will be getting a new part, and so will month 12 and month 17. Obviously on that one, but yeah. Is it? Hold on. That might be wrong. Hold on. Let me go back down. Okay, yeah, I just didn't edit that title. Yeah, it'll be month 17. Yeah, month 2, month 17. Yeah, that makes sense. And the big thing for these ones is month 14 will be diving into basically how Caramel got to live in Zecora's house. What happened to her, obviously. We're not getting a full answer what happened to her. That will be in one of the other months. I think you'll get the idea of what month I'm referring to when you actually read this chapter. She'll be deeply involved in another story. Mostly for two reasons. One, despite me still trying to write songs in the background for a video thing I'm still planning to do, I can't rhyme good on the fly, okay? Her way of talking is outright impossible for me to do. It's the main reason why I don't like doing one-shots for her. I can sort of get away with it with the what was his name? Ezekiel, I think. But even then, it is very rough. I'm not great at it, so I don't want to ruin Zecora's whole rhyming scheme. An OC, yeah, I can ruin an OC all I want. I just don't want to ruin her. Anyway, as for, let's see, what is coming out this month? From Journey to Heartswarming. It is... And Always Confusing. Why did I name it that? I might change that title, but it's going to be episode 65, Always Confusing. And basically at this one, it's going to be diving headfirst back into the explode. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, diving headfirst back into the explosion on the ground. You see after the land was split in half by Emerald's attack, we're going to finally see the surface of what's happening. We're actually going to get 3 point of views of that, okay? Seeing how the ponies are surviving, who else managed to escape, what else is going on in the background of this attack. That will be coming out, I want to say, the 29th. That's my preamble. I might go sooner, I might go the 22nd. But that's my preamble, it's 29th. Also, let's see. Reminds me, where is Every Pony? Every Pony will be getting its own, we'll get a new chapter. It is Dragon's Hesitations, chapter 17. That one is almost finished. I just need to clean that one up, so I'll probably post that one really early. If anything, I might post it the 8th at the earliest, just to get it out of the way, because it's not an inherently big chapter, but it is somewhat important, since you remember how the last one ended with the with the Friendship School is missing. And it's kind of something I've been wanting to tackle for a long time. A lot of the readers have been wondering, where are the Student Six? Where are the Student Six? I'm not going to give you guys a full answer what happened to them, but I am going to dive into a little bit of the details, okay? Okay, I'll say it. They're not... No, I won't say it. I'm just going to let you guys read the chapter. I'm going to stop myself before I sound stupid, because I might just ruin everything. Anyway, what else is coming out this month? Oh yeah, Dragon May Cry is still going to be continuing its story. We're going to be diving into Act 8. And Act 8 and 9, or is it just Act 8? I'm not sure on that yet. Is mostly going to be from the point of view of Amber and, should I say who's traveling with her? Or who she runs into in this little adventure? Obviously it's not Garble. No, we're not doing that. But still, I will be tackling more on the relationship between Amber, Garble, and Smolder in the next act. But Spike will pretty much not be involved in this story at all. If you only want to follow Spike, this act might seem a bit filler, but it is kind of necessary to show off the other Dragon Lord in the East, Echidna. I've mentioned her a few times. She is very pinnacle to Amber's story. I remember one of you guys in the comment section, you were disappointed that Spear died off so quickly, and you wanted them to directly confront the idea of Amber in charge. And I was sort of having her confront that, but then I needed someone to die, and Spear was right there, okay? I didn't need Spear in the story, because I already knew from the get-go Echidna was going to be the one directly attacking Amber's right to rule. Because they are very similar in character, but in a very different way of each, okay? You're going to love what I've done with this character. There's a lot of inspirations in the name and the form, because, yes, the creatures are called poison salamence. They are essentially like mini versions of the Pokemon. I don't go for like the giant salamence characters. I've gotten already plenty of giant dragons in this story. I want sort of this swarm aspect for these next dragons. And it works well with the poison idea. Anyway, so now that the schedule's out of the way, I can finally dive into my thoughts of what I did for Act 7. Act 7 is the middle of the track storyline, and I know the pacing of this one probably felt the roughest, because we go from, in Act 1 and 2 and 3, we're barely entering into the Wyvern territory. And by the time we get to Act 7, we're barely done. The pacing for this one is very noticeable, because we took so long to try and break up from them leaving Gabby behind. I don't know why I said Gilda, sorry. Gabby behind, and then Smolder confronting her feelings. The main reason I wanted this act to be its own thing is the reveal of what happened to Garble. It's something that's been in my back pocket from the very beginning. In fact, original drafts had the reveal back in Act 2 or 3, if I remember correctly, somewhere around there. I originally planned for it to go back there. I'm not sure if I accidentally wrote a small bit of a reveal back there. I'm not sure. It's always been bugging me in the back of my mind. Did I did I build this? Did I build it up right back in Act 2 and 3, or did I accidentally go with the original draft of revealing what happened to him there? Because during Act 5, I also nearly dropped the reveal, and also during Act 6. I've been holding this one back for a while. I've been wanting to go into Garble's character for a long time, and I'm not quite there at unveiling every single detail of what happened to him. I will spoil this much. After Ember's storyline in the East, we will flip back over to get a proper resolution to what happened with Garble. Okay? We'll learn who killed him, why, and everything else, because there's still a bit more mysteries going on there. But I needed to get the Ember section out of the way for Act 8, because I can't just keep that in the background ever silent. I need to unload that because the western section is very important for the final section. I know I'm kind of limiting myself with the way I've designed the dragon routes of 4 cardinal directions, but 5 dragon lords. And the original idea behind that was the elements in, what was that? One of the Spyro games. The second trilogy, if you guys remember, Spyro and Cinder were given these elemental fires, and that's essentially what's been inspiring this idea. Letting Spike try out these elemental fires, but with an extra spin. You guys might have noticed green fire for him, red ice for him. What color is going to be his poison? What color is going to be his shadow? Because yes, even though we haven't directly fought the middle dragon, it is quite revealed in the last chapter pretty abruptly that it is Shadow, obviously. But then there's also lightning. This doesn't mean this is all the dragon elements I'm exploring. You might have noticed there's an element blatantly missing. Sand. I mean, like, Sand Emperor's whole thing. It's literally in his name. Yes, there'll be more dragon elements explored in the sequel stories. I told you this is planned to be a full trilogy. I'm not going to do 5 elements every single time. That would be kind of stupid. But I do have a few other ones planned, like sound. Let's see, what was another one I wanted to do? I'll figure it out later, okay? But the big things for this chapter, and for Act 7, were to dive into Smolder's psyche of what she truly thinks of Spike. Is he too much like her brother, or does he aggravate her in the same way her brother did? Is he too much of a wild card? What is it? And in the end, the reveal of this act is that she just outright hates Spike because her brother blames Spike. It's her brother's hatred for Spike passing down to her. It's not that she hates him, it's that her brother hated him. And therefore, she must hate him. Even if, as we blatantly see, that she actually doesn't hate Spike. I wanted the final chapter in here to be longer, not just to unload all the tension between these two, but also to unfold on the ideas of certain things. Particular, this is probably our first point of view, and first time writing a modern point of view for Spike in his relationships. All the previous ones involving Spike were either flashbacks or we cut to black. That was very personal, because when it came to Smolder, I wanted to directly tackle what happens when he starts to lose his mind. That little inkling of a voice when the bell rings. The same thing that told him to destroy the city, to do all this damage, to attack Rarity. All that is built on the bell itself and the one who wields it. The voice he was hearing. This chapter reveals that it's not Spike's inner voice like he kept thinking. It's not, oh, I'm a monster deep down. No, someone's clearly trying to force Spike to commit these evils. Who is it? You guys might already have an idea. I'm not being subtle on the design of this character. In fact, I'm fighting back and forth between dropping his name in the epilogue or just keeping it silent. Because, yeah, I've already written the epilogue for this story, as well as a few later chapters, but not every late chapter, okay? It's very much me fighting back and forth on certain chapters. But the new act will probably start, I want to say Monday. Probably Monday or Sunday, because I need to figure out pacing issues for this next arc. Because in the original draft, Amber's section was going to be 2 acts. I'm thinking about trimming it down to 1 act so we can go right back to the Garble section. That does kind of mean that one scene I'm gonna have to like gut out completely or combine it with the other scene. Now that's the whole reason I wanted to take an extra 2 days to try and plan things out. Plus, university work's getting a little busy. It's around the time of the midterms for October, so I'm trying to get through all the extra bits. Overall, this act will be fun, just a little bit different from the previous acts, okay? Because we'll be exploring Amber, but no Spike. We'll also be exploring an additional character, which, if you kept up with me and my preferences and ships, you kind of know who I'm talking about, okay? Which is fun because not only will they be a canon relationship in Dragon May Cry, there'll also be a canon relationship in SWWC. Because you guys might remember, in that story, Amber has her own month. Okay? And she will be confronting this character in that storyline too. But remember, Dragon May Cry is not canon to SWWC. It's its own separate universe, okay? However, I will be having a lot of fun in exploring that other character in SWWC, given his connections to King Cray in that universe. Overall, that's everything coming out this month. I know people have been curious of, will I ever continue Hoodwink and such? The problem with Hoodwink is it's pretty much done. I'm on the final act, and I've only got like 3, maybe 4 chapters left of that story. And I got all the reveals out of the way, so I don't know where to take the story next outside of just playing it out to the ending. It's not that I have no time, I just don't feel enough energy to finish that one no more. I got to the reveal that Grogar was in the story, that Grogar was the main villain. That was the joke. I always loved the goat in that story. I wanted to give the goat more attention, so why not turn him into Grogar? It's also a bit iffy back and forth because of how I'm writing, how I'm writing Blue Blood in Dragon May Cry compared to how I'm writing him in Hoodwink. They are very different characters in those stories, okay? In Hoodwink, he's very much the detective style character, very clean cut, very much a good character. Meanwhile, in Dragon May Cry, holy fucking shit, I have really destroyed the faith in some readers and thinking like, oh, I can handle. When it comes to Blue Blood fans, you guys are usually in 2 camps. Either one, you outright hate the character and love mocking him, utterly destroying him or turning him into a monster. Or 2, you want to find a redemption arc based on those tiny ass scenes you saw in the comics. And I understand, this character barely has a role in the original show. Legit, he has not had a single line since season 1. I literally made a meme joke about that. He has not had a single fucking line since season 1. 9 seasons of the original show, damn it. And he still has fans saying that, oh, he can change, he can be redeemed. And I've essentially did that in Hoodwink. I've explored a good version of Blue Blood. But at the same time, one of the big things about Dragon May Cry is I just wanted to cut loose when it came to these characters. Since it's not a canon universe to my SWWC or my Journey Heartswarming, it allowed me to basically say, break it. See where I can take certain characters till they snap. For instance, turning Twilight into a vengeful warriors. I couldn't do that in the main storylines because I'm following her, okay? The story is following her directly in Journey of Heartswarming. Something Wrong with Canterlot is happening because she's not involved in that story, or that she's been literally ripped away from that part of the timeline. So I can't just automatically have her be evil in those stories. But in this one, with Dragon May Cry, since it's a totally separate universe, I can have just random bits of fun. And no, I'm not going, oh, she's the ultimate evil incarnate. If you pay attention to some of the very few chapters she gets, I know she gets very little screen time at all in this story. That was mostly due to 2 things. One, I thought for sure Virgil would get more screen time in the actual anime. I'm shocked that freaking slime was just an illusion. Still, I had fun recreating my own version of the scene. Okay? But the second reason that she barely shows up is because I don't want you guys to lose absolute faith in her, okay? She is doing horrible things right now. But unlike Blue Blood, who is completely over the deep end and outright ready to commit genocide without a single hesitation, there is a tiny spark of light for Twilight. And that is seen in... Let's see, where is it? I think it's way near the heart. No, that's still Spike sections. I might have put it in another chapter, yeah. It might be like the start of Act 7. Hold on, let me check. Yeah, Between Two Memories, I think. No. It's the other one. The pink, I know it's the word pink, hold on. Yeah. Such a Pink Blaze total. This chapter is very important for Twilight's section. Okay? It shows that there is a sparkling of something else going on in her mind outside from outright insanity. And I don't want you guys giving up hope on the characters just yet. As for anything else, video's running a bit late. I think my roommate just drove up, not sure. Cat's head is all sticking up. Either way, as I said, 3 new chapters of SWWC, starting from the 10th to the 24th. 1 chapter of Where Is Every Pony, possibly the 15th or the 8th, and Journey of the Heartswarming in either the 22nd or the 29th. Dragon May Cry will be returning Monday the 6th with Act 8, where we'll be exploring what the fuck has Ember been up to during the entirety of Act 3 through 7. Or is it Act 4 through 7? Either way. See you then, folks.